How do we explain ourselves to ourselves? And how do we explain ourselves to our children? When they read about slavery, tell them, yes, we were slaves, but look this is what we did about it. These are the circumstances. These are the people who benefited from it. These are the people who still benefited from it. This is why we still have slavery, white and black, only it's more severe on ours. And the greatest slavery was the enslavement of the mind. And every time you worship some degenerate bopper, this is a form of slavery. I'm not saying every bopper or bebopper is a degenerate, but I'm saying the degeneracy is so high in the profession, you're almost right if you name anyone in it. How we tell people that because we are not dopes, we don't hang out with dope. And how do we tell them that we came out of a society where we were secure enough to accept the female as a god without feeling so insecure, and that the people who feels insecure with the female in power are insecure as human beings? We had and still have a cultural lifestyle that makes a place everyone in the society. Today, the woman plays an important role in the churches, behind the scenes, in the lodges, to such an extent she's not taking the power away from the man. She's freeing his hand so he could be a better man. Now, where do we say where both of us went wrong? Both of us have gone wrong at looking at each other, because we are looking at each other through the lens of Western sociology invented to downgrade us. And we cannot under no condition use this as a measurement. What are we going to tell them about the unification of African people? How are we going to tell them to achieve this kind of unification? How did we get lost on our way home? We need to meet again at the fork roads and read the signboards all over again. There are too many things that apply to our oppressor that does not apply to us. And we are longing to be like someone. We're longing to follow someone who don't know where they are going. We need to set direction, because we're following people who have no direction. We're following a hungry and a very insecure people who want all of the world, who can't count half, who don't know a fourth, who wants everything. We're dealing with the personality bred by that ice. It's ingrained in his personality. He is anti-democratic, anti-Christian, anti-humanity. And he will achieve everything at the expense of sacrificing humanity, democracy, and everything we call religion. I have grown weary of trying to explain the difference between religion and spirituality, because each time you make the experiment, someone said, you must be godless. I'm not only not godless, I try to remove all of the unnecessary underbrush away from me so I can get in closer. Whoever he or she is. And And the she don't bother me either. Now, let me sum up something that has no summary and end something that has no end. Where are we in the world? And how do we find ourselves, and how do we find ourselves and our place on the map of human geography? How do we tell people what went wrong? How do we get out of the terrible contradiction? After the independence of Ghana, we were so hopeful. It was in the midst of the civil rights movement and the marches, midst of the fight for a Caribbean federation. We thought that at last we had turned the corner on our way to true freedom and true unity. We underestimated our enemies. We underestimated the members of our own group who was in the pay of our enemies. There was a whole lot of people who did not want to be free from that dominance. There was a whole lot of people who didn't want to be comfortable seeing African people in power. So between schemes and buying off a lot of them, the whole structure was lost. 10 years of celebrating on the road to freedom, 1957 to 1967. The next 10 years, almost the next 20 years, our enemy, our foreign colonial master, our former enslaver, had learned the secret and gradually destroyed our organization from within and from without. The concept of a Caribbean federation went by the wayside. The idea of a unified Africa fell by the wayside. The idea of total citizenship in this country fell by the wayside. We were fighting for something that was a shadow, fighting for something the enemy could easily give us without losing his power. You want integration? They give you integration. That don't give you no money. That don't give you no job. That don't give you no house. All right, so you can go in the same bathroom. You can eat at the same table. When you think of what price these hotels cost, you can build 5 hotels with the money you spend going into their expensive hotels. You can build shoe factories for yourself. Because you integrated, you thought you didn't have to do anything for yourself. They'll let them into theirs. You still have to build your own. You still have to build an industry. There wouldn't be so many of our young people hung up in this stupid drama in the sand had we not failed them by not making a place for them in our own community. We had the funds. We could have opened up cloth factories, dress factories, shoe factories, all the things, just factories only dealing with the things we use. People get a little tired of me mentioning underwear because they're a little sensitive about this. But if you're going to start manufacturing, the first brother that opens an underwear factory, and the first time you say, I ain't going to buy no underwear except from that brother's going to become a multimillionaire. On one item. Now let's look at all the items in the more than $200 billion we feed into the American economy. We can rescue ourselves. What are we still with our tin cup begging at the door of a fool? We have to locate ourselves on the map of human geography. Between the Caribbean islands, the United States, other parts of South America. 250 million African people. Millions in the Pacific. Over 150 million in India, counting the Dravidians. 500 million in Africa, according to a count was made 50 years ago, indicating that the African man is not going home trying to renew himself. Among the many faults we have, neglecting home, not renewing ourselves, is not one of them. We do want someone to carry on in our name.